Welcome to 50 Plus Home and Gardening. Let's find those plants that are going to give us something to look at in August. What's left? Okay, we're starting here. The roses, not quite as impressive as they were in May. May is when they explode. But you can see right behind there, I have a bunch of zinnias in the background, and I had a bunch right here. And what happened is they got so fat and so big that they took over all the roses. So now look at the roses struggling. They are sprawly, but there's a bunch of buds on them now, and I'm just going to let them go. But they're not quite the show. What is the show right now in this garden? Whew, it's annuals. Those Super Tunia Vista bubblegum, proven winners. Oh my goodness, that's one plant. So yeah, very awesome. That is a really good plant to have. Annuals, a lot of people think are a waste of time, but they are not, because they give such a show. They're pleasing to have in the summer when everything else has kind of a lull. The strawberries, look, there's just a few flowers left, and they're not really showy. The sedums are not showy. A lot of the other things that are annuals, these are thyme. And all the parsley seeds, they are not really showy. Like I said, the roses are in a lull. Only the annuals, look at these. Okay, Mandelavilla, wonderful. They look really wonderful. And like I said, if anybody can tell me what this plant is, look at it. It's growing really well in the shade. Now, the original plant, see, I divided it into 3 pieces. Look at that. So it likes it even in there. But this is the north side. Look at that Mandelavilla. This is the original. Oh, no. It died. So it doesn't like the sun. So if anybody can identify that plant, didn't come with a tag, that would be great. Okay. Zinnias. Look at the butterflies. The butterflies like it's a magnet. Look. Okay, zinnias are annuals, and they're from seeds. You can get a few at the box stores, Lowe's, and things like that, but not really. I would rather grow it from seeds. All of these are from seeds, except for these front ones. So, Super Tunia Vista, really good. The verbenas, so-so. They weren't quite as impressive as those Super Tunias. Look at those, oh my goodness. The roses, like see on this angle, they're a little bit high because, like I said, they were kind of drowned out by the zinnias, which I did take out. I had to take out, look at this explosion. All right, this is the Williamsburg garden. The zinnias are the show. Look at the butterflies. Okay, the butterflies are absolutely everywhere. I mean, if I pull it back, look at the activity. I don't know if you can see it in here as much as I'm looking out here. I was like, there are butterflies everywhere. So the only thing I didn't like, and I will make a note of this, make sure that you go outside in your own yard with a piece of paper and pen, just go around, look, because I think this is too tall. It got in the way of, look, this is where I would walk, and I had to cut all this back. So it kind of looks very awful, and I had to stake it. These were 2.5 feet. I would not go, if you want them pretty, these are the ones that say 6 inches, but it actually grew 10 inches. I would stick with small zinnias if you don't want them to spread. But if you have it against a fence line like this, these were 10 inches, but they're like, I don't know, they look like 15 inches, so they even got big. But these, they're almost 3 feet, even though they said 2.5. And I hate to tell you this, but you people who have butterfly bushes, even though butterflies go for that, they are not going to my butterfly bushes, but they'd rather have all these zinnias. I think they think that the zinnias are showier and they've come out of here rather than the butterfly bush. Too bad. There are a few at the butterfly bush, but not like this. The zinnias are a hit. You guys want to do zinnias? Just think of the size. That was my problem. As you can see, this is a path to nowhere. Why? The zinnias have taken over. I've been cutting and cutting and cutting. Doesn't matter. They're just way too big, too tall for such skinny little pathways. That doesn't make me happy. So, and these are the 10-inch, and as you can see, by August they are starting to split in the center because it got so large. Some of them not. This one's much better. But overall, the zinnias, annuals have been the hit so far. So if I'm going to come up here, again, in the pots, of course, you're going to put annuals, and they're the hit. Look at that. Come over here, and in August, everything. Now I've had to cut this super bean back because one plant will grow 8 feet or more. That was just too big, so I had to keep cutting it. More zinnias. They love themselves. I'm telling you guys, looking back, annuals are it in this garden. Okay, in June, everything is growing beautifully, a little bit more tidy. The zinnias are not as tall, but I would say zinnias are a showcase for sure in the garden. So June, beautiful, love it. Here's a July picture in the same garden. A little bit smaller, a little bit tidier, a little bit more spent because in July, as you can see, we had a lot of rain. So a lot of things were, I had to stake a lot of the zinnias because they were just flopping, and I had to cut them pretty severely back. So they have a little bit of yellow, a lot of rain, but still a star as far as lots of blooms. And you can see in the background the Supertunia is kind of kicking out there. See the Supertunia right there? They are also a star in July, and there is actually a Supertunia way up there. So yes, and also you can see the crepe myrtle is blooming in in July. So in July and August, definitely the crepe myrtle are blooming, and the zinnias in June, July, and August, and also the superbenias. Just more tidy, and they get larger as they go, but I showcase. Here's the June garden. A lot of the roses, tons and tons of zinnias in front of the roses. I had not pulled those all back, but you can see they're hiding all my rose bushes. All right, it's going to be pretty easy to see what August gives us. I have beautiful autumn joy, not quite ready, probably a September show. As you can see, some of them are turning pink, but it's mostly green right now, not a lot of show. We get a few red hot pokers, but they're not a show right now. They were a show when they were all standing tall, but look at what's hidden in here. Ooh, my friend Nancy gave me these. This is just a wild coneflower. So now this is August, and coneflowers are a must. So if you want to write it on your paper, what do you need in August for show for flowers? It's coneflowers. That is a show. So if you don't want to buy annuals, because this is my Williamsburg garden, and what is it? All annuals. So I'll have a blank slate in winter time to kind of rethink this area, maybe put a little bit more sedums, low growing, maybe some herbs that grow very, very low. But other than that, I won't have anything in the winter time unless I plant maybe annuals or think about some sedums, like some of this lemon coral sedum, something like that. But the annuals, zinnias, and supertunias are it. Okay, so now let's go to this new garden that I put out. Actually, I just defined the lines. Isn't this pretty? What is blooming in August here? Again, more annuals. Okay, you've got African daisy, purple, and then you have the geraniums, those fired up red, which is not my favorite color, but I didn't know what color they were going to be. They were in the sick bay at Lowe's, and I took them, and they didn't have any bloom, so I didn't know what color, but those look good together. And look at this, magnificent. I have not cut this one back, but it's still very, very showy. So again, Supertunia bubblegum. Anything with the word Vista, it's going to be big. So just remember, any Supertunias with the word Vista, it's whoo-hoo. All right, this is one plant. And if you guys have crepe myrtles, I'd write that down because crepe myrtles are in July and August, and there's just a few blooms left, but I get a somewhat show. And then look, a second bloom of all the yellow red hot pokers. The orange ones didn't do as fabulous, but these all came back, so I got a second flush. Again, the autumn joy is probably going to be September. The irises are done, and the poker, if you get yellow, they may come back. So that's kind of a show. Okay, what's going on over here? That's not normal. Those phlox are usually in the spring, but they've decided to bloom again. I don't know why. And look, you may get a show probably in September, but if you want to get liriope, you can see those little purple stems. Those are wonderful, and they will get more of them, probably more of a show in September. So not really quite in August, but I don't know if I'd write phlox either. That seems a little odd that the phlox is blooming right now, so maybe I wouldn't write that down on my paper if you wanted to have something in August for bloomings. But look at this. Look, it finally bloomed. Boom chocolata. Okay, that is going to look really good. I did put in a coral, let's see, it's called coral bark Japanese maple, and they will have red stems. So I just love these. Now, geraniums that are perennials, they do spread, and you can see this one is sort of a purple, dark purple leaves, but they do have them. I've had these before. Geraniums will take over kind of an area, and I do like that for a little bit of spreading. This is kind of in the background. There are some cement slabs that I can't grow anything, so they can just spread. But oh, I got some buds. That's nice for the first year. These are from Proven Winners. Boom chocolata. So I would write that down for a good August bloomer. And that is a perennial. All right, let's cruise on down my defined path, which I absolutely love. It has really made this stand out a little bit, and I may put some more bricks in here later on, but all right, let's get busy with what's here in August. Okay, August, the phlox. Your pink polka dot and the opening act, pink, look. That's polka dot, and look, the coneflowers. Okay, that is a pink coneflower, but it's almost ready to either be cut back or, because it was nice and hot pink, so it's faded down to kind of a burgundy, which I really like, and this yellow. So write this down for perennials. Coneflowers are good for August. Phlox of different varieties are good for August. And now make sure you remember the size. These are a small size. Salvia has a second flush, and they are blooming in August. Okay, and so they have lots of bees, and so you can provide food for them. And of course, more Supertunia bubblegum, still doing well, and then more coneflowers. Now this was a red and this was orange. They're all fading now, but they still have a lot of color to give to the area. Look at the coral berry. They did really well. So I would suggest that. Put it on your list to get some coral berry if you want some colors. The colors that you like. Pick the kind. You know, they have lime green. They have all kinds of colors. But this stayed in the garden, and it still gives a show. It's sort of faded, but it still looks good at this time. Now, again, Vinca is another annuals. They're coming out in August. They look really, really good. So if you want as far as annuals, it's vincas, zinnias, and supertunias. Look at that. Okay, so the coneflowers are good perennials, phloxes, and salvia. Over here, maybe the yellow red hot pokers. You want to see if it says it blooms twice, or that kind of thing, because they have hybrids that do all kinds of stuff. And look at that supertunia. That's the same one, so they're all bubblegum. But then look, okay, what's this? I don't have the exact name because this was another one of those ones that came without a tag, but that's a Veronica. So Veronica is a good one for August. So what's blooming in August? All the annuals they're kind of getting tired because you can see the inside is turning green, but they still, from a distance, if I pull back a little bit, they still give me that pink color that I need. And the Veronicas are smaller. This is a smaller plant, but it gives me a little bit of color. And if you feel like green is one of your colors, you can get the Autumn Joy, but they are all gonna have pink heads. It looks like they're not gonna have that till September. So this is an August view, really pretty. So coneflowers, I think maybe is the star here. All right, you can see some things blooming. This is also a June view. Much tidier, much smaller. The supertunias are not as big, you can see, and here's one right here, and here's a supertunia, but definitely a showcase in June. Those are blooming wonderfully, and if you can see, there is and I'll bring it up closer. Those are the coneflower and the coneflowers. Those are blooming. It looks like in May we had a burst of phlox, and now the phlox is not blooming. So still, again, in June would be coneflowers and your supertunias as bloomers. The vinca, not so much quite yet. And also in June, the crepe myrtle has not bloomed yet. Butterfly bush, absolutely a June bloomer. And you can see that the honeysuckle is blooming and the hydrangea is not quite yet. In July, things are starting to explode. You can see all of the supertunias getting larger. You can see the coneflowers in the background. So this is my Williamsburg garden over here, and it's all blooming and beautiful, and the crepe myrtle. So I'm going to pull this forward. You've got the crepe myrtle in bloom. You've got, again, the coneflower and the phlox. So the phlox in July has come back. You've got the coneflower, yellow, and the pink, and they're richer in color in the earlier seasons. And the supertunia is not quite as large as when they are in August, but still a showstopper. Crepe myrtles starting to bloom. July and August is the star for them. So they are a winner for July and August. The coneflowers are good for June, July, and August as bloomers, and also all the annuals are pretty much a showcase, except for the vinca. That's a little later. So you can see the vinca that is in this pot, not quite yet. Those are probably more later July to August for vinca. That's an annual. In July also, you'll notice that most of the red hot pokers, the irises, the Autumn Joy sedum are pretty much done, and there's not much color. So basically the star for perennials is phlox, coneflower. That's about it. Oh, and the heuchera. So they're always going to be a star. So if you get heuchera, you're going to have color from. I think they're pretty all season, and even the lamb's ear. Even the lamb's ear, probably early June is when they have blooms, but they have a lot of gray, beautiful color, a good splash. Probably early in the season, more May. I think May blooms for those. Oh my word. All right, this is the front of the garden, and oh my word, one super tunia bubblegum. It loves the south. Okay, so if you want to have a crazy guy, that's one plant, and it is probably 10 feet wide. Look, it's all into that. This is actually pretty spectacular. They still have some buds. Okay, that's the Sensation Honeysuckle from Proven Winners. But look, it's into everything. And then look, Pinky Winky has budded. It is going to look fantastic when it gets bigger. Remember, this is going to get 9 feet, so I wanted to give it a chance. So it's kind of chain linked. It's got a cage around it for bunnies, but now that it's probably 3 feet tall, and it's got, look at those buds. Okay, that's a winner for August. So Pinky Winky, that is in the hydrangea, and it's in the south, and it doesn't look like it has any stress from being hot, hot, hot. So that's a winner. Now, if you let your super tunias die back naturally, guess what you have? Suckers. Suckers. They're not suckers. They're seeds that came, I'm sorry, they're not suckers. They're seeds that came back. They sometimes will be a different color than, because I don't remember getting that color. They sometimes will go back to their original color, like if you got a hybrid style. This was probably one of those striped ones from Proven Winners, but it went back to its native natural. Now look, you've got one here. There's one there, and look. See, now this is what I had last year. It was this striped kind of a. It was a small super tunia, but you can see how it went back to its natural pink. So I have a feeling that's what that is right there. Oh, and then look right here, a Volunteer Rebecca from the balcony up there. I had those last year and I let it grow. I knew what it was, and look, so I get a benefit. So if you let these seed and don't cut them back early, you will spread some of the seeds. They may look a little different than the mother plant, than the one that you planted. But if you like to, I have many seeds, and I don't have to let that grow, but that's just going to give me more flavor and color. So stand back. What's a winner? All your annuals, super tunias, super beanas, and your Proven Winners hydrangea Pinky Winky. That's a plus. And I actually think in August a good bloomer is the Sensation Honeysuckle from Proven Winners, and looks like any of those are just volunteers. Again, I have the Autumn Joy. If you like the little green hats in August, those would be kind of fun to look at. So that's the overall look. Oh, and the butterfly bush. So count the butterfly bush in as an August bloomer. Oh my word. Okay, again, these heads of Autumn Joys, I think they look cool, but they are green. If you want color, again, the Super Tunia bubblegum's great. Pinky Winky, look how cute. Okay, I'm gonna come up close so you can really see this. Like I said, this one's gonna grow all the way up to here. So let's take a close look at it. You can see that this is kind of a lacy style, this Pinky Winky, and it sort of has a point, long point, as opposed to round like most hydrangeas. And the leaves, this is a sturdy stem. Okay, it's not gonna move too much, and this is its first year. So this is going to be stiff and it's going to be upright, but this turns a pastel pink, but it's a white in August. So let's just stick with that. I'll come back and show you what it's going to look like in September, and I want to see it fade. It fades into a little bit of a blush pink. So I'm very excited to see it. I've never seen it. And this is in the south. So hydrangea Pinky Winky, yes. Super Beana, or excuse me, Super Tunia, absolutely. Okay, what do we have up the hill? I have a Barlville. Let me see if I can get it to you guys. If you notice, okay, somebody's crepe myrtle, way out in the purple crepe myrtle. So if you have crepe myrtles, write that down. That is a good July and August. All right, so I'm coming up the hill. We're gonna look on this side. All right, this one needs some action. Looks like, except for now, even the roses have kind of lulled back. So that's a rose bush. The figs don't give you any flowers. I've already cut back, as you will see, some of my pumpkins and some of my lavender that I grabbed. Look at that. They still look really pretty. This is the Sensation. This is the Phenomenal. This is the one I'd buy. Don't mess with him. Don't mess with the Grosso. There are other lavenders, but the Phenomenal, he is very mounded, looks like a shrub. He's big. I got tons and tons of lavenders, stems from him, and loving it. But it's not very showy over here, so I'm gonna need some action. One crepe myrtle bloom. You can see him in there, one. So not much action on this side. So I'm going to have to concentrate with either the annuals that I just listed, the zinnia, the supertunia, superbena, but overall, fruit trees, there's no flowers in August. Pretty green. So if you want some action, those perennials and annuals that I listed, and the trees, the crepe myrtles. Oh wait, I just saw another one of his. So he has a purple one, Borrowed View, and see that one? Okay, so there's two crepe myrtles up Borrowed View. So when I go up the hill, there is some color. So August, crepe myrtles are definitely a one. Also July is when I harvested all the lavender, cut them, and made little fun decorations for inside the house. Just little bundles, and I just kind of put the bundles all over the house. Really, really, really pretty. Let's go over our August picks. Zinnias, definitely number one. Make sure you size it right. In July, you get to harvest pumpkins if you did them early in May, and zinnias for the table. Really fun. Supertunia Vista of any kind is a show. Superbena has beautiful colors, and you can get all kinds of colors. Those are fantastic. Mandelavilla, a great showcase. Really super beautiful. Geraniums are stellar. They look so good mixed with, these are African daisies. So I would suggest African daisies also a winner. Perennials, I would go roses, yes. Coneflower are a must in the garden. I love the coneflower in the garden. Beautiful. Red hot pokers or yellow hot pokers that say they will come back and bloom again, those are wonderful in August. Geraniums that are perennials, such as Boom Chocolata from Proven Winners, a must. Salvia, gorgeous. Phlox of all kinds, not the ones that are in the spring, but these are called summer phlox. Gorgeous. Definitely heucheras of all kinds. Look, beautiful color. Vinca is a great one for August. They start really kicking up their color in August. Vinca. Veronica is a great one. They have all sizes, white, they have purples, they have a darker kind of a bluish, and they have pink. Those are stellar, and they have sort of a stick. They're upright, really beautiful. Another annual is Rebecca. Whether this is a volunteer or you actually added it, it's a plus must in August. Hydrangeas of all kinds. This one is Pinky Winky. Beautiful. Sensation, honeysuckle. Honeysuckles are still really blooming. That's a nice addition. So now that you've seen some of the best flowering plants for June, July, and August, I want you to keep moving, keep gardening, and stay creative. And I'll see you next time.